Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. And this is the Sunday night NFL wrap-up edition. Yes. So as you see, it's myself, Bruce, and the Transformer. We're here to go over all the games in the NFL this week. So we'll give it a couple minutes, see if we get anybody in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get started. What's up, Transformer? What's going on, man?
Man, what's good, brother? I know you're not too happy about today, but I know you're happy about yesterday, okay?
Hey, yes, sir.
I will go ahead and give you flowers what flowers are due. Notre Dame, go Irish.
Yeah.
Beat the dog crap out of my Navy. Sailors, man. It was, I'm not even going to say the score. You guys go look it up if you want to. Bruce, don't say anything about it, but
I got you.
You know, they did their thing, man. Their kicker, who is about 47 years old, who's older than dirt, went out there to motivate younger kids. And, I think they pretty much cheated, but we're not going to get into conspiracies. I'm not going to talk LeBron James and that triple-double in year 22, but it was something like that.
Did he switch to a triple-double last night?
Oh, triple-double, man. Year 22, triple-double. You know what I mean? Took over in the fourth quarter. 16 points in the fourth quarter.
All right.
Tonight is about football. But, how you doing, brother?
I'm maintaining, man, maintaining. You know what's funny, though, and while we just talking about college real quick, I was happier about Texas A&M beating LSU than I was about Notre Dame winning yesterday. Obviously, seeing Notre Dame win is always good, but watching A&M, who Notre Dame went down to Kyle Field and beat in game one this year, and then watching what A&M has become since then, just being one of the better teams in the country, doing their thing. And, of course, they also beat the fighting Brian Kellys of LSU, who is, as you know, former Notre Dame head coach. So that was beautiful on multiple fronts for me. I'll take that all day, every day. Yes, sir.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Yeah. So, I was happy about it. But let's go ahead and let's get started with this NFL wrap-up, man. Before we do that, y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right. Well, let's get right to it, man. So, I guess we're going to start with that game that we just finished, huh?
Yes, sir. I mean, why not? That's fresh on the brain, fresh on the mind. Yes, so, we don't want to talk about the obvious, but,
No, we don't. We'll have to get there, but at this moment, we don't want to discuss that.
But, I'll go ahead and kick us off, man. Dallas tried to make one of them infamous comeback games to where it seems like a comeback game for Dak Prescott. So he got a lot of garbage time points and scores and yards and things like that. Yeah. We got to give him a new name than Dak. What is not Ramon? What's his name?
Dakota Rain Prescott. That's his
Dakota
name.
Rain Prescott. You know what I mean? So not going to give him any flowers because flowers aren't due. Again, they lose a tough game to where they just came off of a bye week. And, you lose 24-30, man. Brock Purdy came in 18 for 26, 1 touchdown, only sacked twice. Running game got it done like we expected them to do against the Dallas Cowboys, who are very, very bad at the run. 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. You carry the ball 36 times versus passing the ball 26 times. I think that's great. I think that's great. What do you think?
I think that's what Shanahan would love to be able to do every single game. Not that he doesn't trust Purdy, but that is his MO, running the football. Because if you remember, that goes all the way back to his dad, and I've talked about it before. John Elway, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, failed in the Super Bowl 3 times, and when he got Mike Shanahan and he got that running game with Terrell Davis, they were able to win back-to-back championships. So I think that Kyle Shanahan knows how absolutely important the run game is, and that's been in his DNA as an offensive coordinator and now as a head coach. That's super important to him, and you can see that. And even though you didn't necessarily have one guy, rushing for 200, by committee, it got done. And I think I've said it before. Brock Purdy is sneaky athletic. 8 carries for 56 yards tonight.
Very
So
huge.
yeah, so you look at it and you just say overall, 36 carries for 223 yards. It's anytime a team gets that, it's going to be real hard to win that football game. And then of course you have Dak Prescott literally giving the football away twice. So I mean, again, I talk about Dak all the time. I do. Nobody listened to me. They gave him money he didn't deserve, and now they're stuck with a bad quarterback, and they are stuck in a bad situation.
No, they're definitely stuck in a bad situation. When you got no running game, period. They tried to run the ball 19 yards. 19 carries, 10 carries, 34 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, they activated Dalvin Cook off of the practice squad. They were very, very hype. Oh, we could possibly get something done. But guess what? He got you 6 carries, 12 yards.
Yeah.
And you can credit to some of that to just not being with the active team. But still, that's Dalvin Cook. Anything reminiscent of Dalvin Cook in the Minnesota Viking days, you're thinking like, okay, we really do have a solid chance of doing something in the run game. But 6 carries for 12 yards and a total of 19 carries of 56 yards for the entire Dallas Cowboy team. That's not good. Especially when you're looking at San Fran and what they did on the run game. Again, you have to put the game in Dak Prescott's hands, and we've said it, and you've said it, I've said it notoriously. If he does not have a run game, he's not going to win the game, right? He's a very subtle quarterback to where, he can go down early real quick, and then he gains a lot of his quota in just chase down, right? Chase down, trying to get, close to winning the football game, or trying to make it relatively close. They were down 30-17 early in the fourth quarter, and he goes down and scores the ball twice to make it relatively close. I'll take that back. It was like 27-10. It was 27-10, and he scores the football twice and makes it looks like it could have been a football game, which it kind of was. I give it to him. Right. They had a chance with 2 minutes left to do anything in the fourth quarter, but San Fran was like, okay, now we know what you're trying to do. We're done playing. Let's close the door. Yeah. So
absolutely.
It was a great game, man. For San Fran, that is. San Fran, that is.
Yeah, exactly. And they needed that as well,
Yeah. They're fighting in that division, man. That division is getting a little tough for them. Right now, they're currently second behind Arizona, out of all people.
Isn't that crazy?
Tied 4-4. Seattle lost again today. We'll get to that later. They're 4-4, and we're going to go into the Rams Vikings, who are currently 3-4. So that division is very, very tight. So it's going to be extremely tough. So while we're on it, we're going to get back into that Thursday night football game. The Rams beat the Vikings, who were undefeated at 5-0, and they are suffering back-to-back losses now. They lose 20 against the Los Angeles Rams. Man, what do you got to say about that one?
I said that was a good football game as well. What we're starting to see is he didn't play terribly, but all of a sudden Sam Darnold is coming back to the pack. Remember early in the year, he was doing his thing and everyone said, oh, Sam Darnold, he's turned the corner. He's not the same. Yes, he is. He's coming back to the pack. Again, he didn't play terrible, and credit where it's due. He didn't throw any interceptions, turn the football over, but he's coming back to the pack. And now, because think about it, the Rams aren't even technically one of the better teams, right? They're 3-4, and they, he couldn't get that done. So I look at it and say the Vikings are a good team, but now Detroit is really, really rolling. Green Bay obviously playing well. The Bears took a loss today. We'll get to that, but Detroit is really, really rolling, and the Vikings are just going to come back to the pack. And it looks as if teams are starting to figure out what Brian Flores is doing defensively. So maybe he needs to create some more wrinkles and figure out some other ways. But overall, the Rams look like they are starting to round back into form. They're now at 3-4. I think they've won 3 games in a row now.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford is playing well. My guy, Kyron Williams, Kyron the Siren, go Irish.
Go Irish. Damn it.
Right.
Damn it. I'll try
yes, sir. It's all good, man. He's, 6th in the league in rushing yards now. So he is, he's playing well. He's one of their biggest cogs on offense. And the other big thing is Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are both back and healthy. So this is a team that I think can continue to improve. I think that division is up for grabs. And if they win the division, obviously that's automatic first round. They will host a playoff game in the first round. So,
No, I agree, man. It's very huge for him.
What's good, man? Good to see you. It's been a while, man. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. And yes, thank you for your Aggies winning. We definitely appreciate that up in Irish land. Tell him, Steve. But yeah, go ahead, Transformer.
No, when you're looking at the Rams, right? We were ready to write their season off. They were 1-4 early in the season. But of course they were suffering through major injuries. You mentioned Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and the game that they both come back, right? When you get both of your weapons back, they get 12 catches, they get 157 yards and a touchdown on offense. Am I echoing? Can you hear me?
No.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you. You're good.
I don't know how I'm echoing. I think I'm hearing the echo on my side. But they come back and do it in a great fashion. When you have those two big weapons for you in that offense, and you have Kyron the Siren, go Irish, in the backfield, rushing for almost 100 yards off the ground, you're able to win a lot of football games. And I think that's what we saw today. We saw Matt Stafford, who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 25 for 34. Nothing too crazy as far as the completion percentage, but 124.5 passer rating. And he did great. He did great with his weapons being back. Kyron Simon was able to run the football. And like you said, Sam Darnold, I'm not going to say, it was Sam Darnold-ish because he did play a decent game, 18 for 25, 240, 2 touchdowns. He didn't turn the ball over necessarily. But they just couldn't get, the plays that were needed defensively to stop a hot Los Angeles Rams team. And now you're looking at the Rams like, okay, can you win the division? Right. So I think next week, what we're going to start talking about more as we get into the middle of the season is that, okay, who's really willing to make that resurgence at the top of their division. And I think Los Angeles Rams are going to be one of those teams, man.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. We're going to move right along. We're going to get to more of the 1 o'clocks today. You mentioned earlier the Philadelphia Eagles beat the dog crap out of the Cincinnati Bengals. Did you know they haven't won a game against the Bengals in 24 years?
No.
Yeah, this was year 25, man. They haven't
That's
lost.
crazy.
24. They haven't won a game since 2000, right? And either it's been a tie or it's been a loss against the Cincinnati Bengals. So they had a lot of things on their shoulder. Not only are they trying to seize the number 1 spot in the division, but they're trying to make up for that. Hey, man, we haven't beat the Cincinnati Bengals in 24 years. That's before either one of us were ever in the league. So they did a great job today. 37-17, man. What do you think about that game?
So the first question is, how good is Philadelphia that they're 5-2 and all we talk about is Nick Sirianni on the hot seat? Well, what's the deal with Jalen Hurts? Is this team what we think they could be? But they're 5-2 quietly. And as you said, right there fighting for the division with Washington. I mean, that's a good thing. I also think that when Jalen Hurts has his weapons, like anyone else, right? We just talked about Matthew Stafford getting back Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Now we see Jalen Hurts. He's got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown back, and all of a sudden he looks like the old Jalen Hurts again. He's going bombs away. I don't know if you saw that one bomb that he threw, and Devontae Smith caught it, jumped and caught it almost in the back of the end zone. But now he's got his weapons back, and of course he's got Saquon Barkley. They look good. They look good. So this is a good team. I didn't expect that the Bengals would get beat up like this, and apparently this may be the year that starting off slowly is finally coming back to bite the Bengals. They need to figure out how to begin the season with a better sense of urgency, because it's one thing to have confidence in Joe Burrow and your weapons, but to have to dig out of that hole every year is very, 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 difficult in the National Football League, and you're putting your team just in a generally untenable position. So this may be the year that is coming back to bite them in the butt, so to speak.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, we were having questions about Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts, and what he could do throwing the football. Like I said, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't have a bad time running the football. You got Saquon Barkley. You got one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. When you come into running the football, play action passes and breaking out of the pocket, he did a great job today. Jalen Hurts got 3 touchdowns on the ground, right? You don't expect to hear that or say that about your quarterback, but that's the facts, right? 10 carries, 37 yards, like, okay. Then you keep looking over like, wait, he got 3 touchdowns?
Right.
Right on the ground. So you're looking at that. You're looking at the fact that he got one on in the air as well. But 16 for 20. You're like, okay, Jalen Hurts was 16 for 20. He got 4 touchdowns in total, and they blew us out by 20. At that point, if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you're looking at this game like, okay, we were trying to make a resurgence, but are we really good at all? Right? Are we really good at all? Your only wins this year are against bottom feeders. Your only ones against the Panthers, Giants, and the Browns.
There you go.
So I mean, you're playing against bottom feeders. Whenever you play competition, you're losing in drastic fashion. You lost against the Chiefs. You lost against the Ravens. You lost against the Eagles. You lost against the Commanders. So anybody with a positive record, you guys can't get it done, right? Your defense is giving up 30+ points per game when it comes to winning teams. So that's just not good if you're Cincinnati, man. I mean, they couldn't get nothing established on the ground. What we expect from Joe Burrow is what we're going to get. 26 for 37, nothing crazy, 234, a touchdown and an interception. But I'm not going to put the game on him. You losing 37-17, right? Like, defense, do something. Help me, right? Help me. But Philadelphia had a great win today. Great dub today.
Yeah, big win.
Yeah. I believe they're now second in the division, correct?
Yep. Yeah. And Saquon Barkley is third in the league in rushing, and he looks good. He looks healthy. And another quick note, Cincinnati could not run the football at all today, and that's going to be a downfall, right? 20 carries for 58 yards. That's tough. That's tough sledding.
No, you're right.
Another stat that I heard today, today is National Tight Ends Day. I don't know if anyone was aware of that. And apparently NFL tight ends caught more passes than any single day in NFL history today. So that was pretty cool. I guess the OCs made a concerted effort to get those guys.
I was just about to say that, man. Credit to OCs, recognizing what today is. I believe it's the third or fourth. It's the fourth Sunday of every October. So they did a great job at scheming up their tight ends today, man. So big shout out to those guys, those coordinators getting their jobs done. Mike Gesicki, 7 receptions, 73 yards. Their leading receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, that is. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Goedert was out today, so he really didn't have the opportunity like he was granted. But their backup tight end, Cal Katera, if I got his name wrong. There you go. 3 receptions, 58 yards. So they tried to scheme something up for him at least to be involved. So, great job with them. But overall, great job by the Philadelphia Eagles. They finally got a dub that was needed after 24 years of either no victory or a tie against the Cincinnati Bengals.
That's crazy. I did not know about that.
Yeah, that's a horrible stat to be in.
Horrible. Yeah.
All right. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Thank God G isn't here, but we got to talk about it.
Have to.
The Baltimore Ravens went to Cleveland, and they stunk it up against the bottom feeders of the AFC North, excuse me.
Yeah.
Losing 24-29 against the Cleveland Browns. I'm gonna let you take it away with that one, brother.
It's pretty simple here. Lamar Jackson played well. Didn't turn the ball over, 23 of 38, 289 yards. But I think they got away from it's Todd Monken again. He rears his ugly head, right? And not to say that Cleveland didn't play well, but they got away from their balance and their identity of really, really running the football. And they threw it 38 times and they ran it 21 times. That's not Raven football. That's not what it's going to be. And as well, I've been talking about it all year, is the deficiency in the back end of that defense. Pause, right? So I don't know. I didn't get a hold of G, Steve. I did check. But
somebody check on him.
I know, right? That defensive secondary, man, and Kyle Hamilton, my guy, go Irish, had an opportunity to save this game and dropped an interception that was in his hands. And that's inexcusable. As much as that's my guy, as much as he's first team all NFL last year at safety and the highest graded safety, blah, blah, blah. You got to make that play, man. You got to make that play because we would have come out with a win. But regardless, not having that offensive balance and really committing to running the football the way they should have, I think that doomed the Ravens. And also, this is something I've been calling for a while, was Jameis Winston to replace Deshaun Watson as the Cleveland starter. Now, I understand that they're paying Deshaun Watson all that money, so I'm sure the owner's like, nah, he's going to play till he can't play anymore. But look, first game, cold off the bench, Jameis Winston comes in 27-41, 334, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Jameis Winston. So great game by him. Nick Chubb is back, and the Ravens have the number one rush defense, so he didn't go off the way he's capable, but 16 carries, right? That you see they're increasing the workload for Nick Chubb. And when he gets going again, I look at Nick Chubb kind of like a Derrick Henry light. Like he's one of those old school backs that you need to get lathered up and he needs to get those carries. And as the game goes on, he'll get better and better. Nick Chubb is really, really good. So yeah, Cleveland, I think the other thing is you can never discount these divisional games, man. Divisional games are tough. We all know how that goes. They know each other well. They're consistent rivals, but there's no reason Baltimore should not have won this game against one of the worst teams in football. And again, I will blame it on Todd Monken and wanting to get cute instead of sticking to the DNA, because Baltimore didn't turn the football over. They didn't. And they didn't turn the football over. They won the rushing battle. They stopped the opposing team's run, but they got carved up in the secondary. And even still, if they had done what they were supposed to do, Jameis probably doesn't, it shrinks the game and he has less opportunities. But I'll let you go, man.
I'm not going to let you get away with that one. I'm not going to let you get away.
That's fine. Go.
I mean, divisional game or not, Cleveland Browns are bottom feeders in the NFL, right? We were just talking about in the last couple of weeks, all season, how bad that team is.
That's true.
We gave Deshaun Watson his criticism as it was due with that team. Nick Chubb, it's not like he came back and ran the football away. 16 carries, 52 yards. You're the Baltimore Ravens. You're the best team in that division, right? You have the two-time MVP. You have the reigning MVP. You got somebody with a chip on his shoulder. You have the best running game in the NFL. You went to Cleveland and you lost, right? Call a spade, right? We can't go and say, oh, it's interdivisional. It's one of those games. It's tricky. No, I'm not going to let that happen. You lose against the Chiefs, fine, right? All right, that's a tough team. You lose against the Detroit Lions, right? They're high up and rising teams in the AFC, in the NFC, right? Okay, fine. 24-29 isn't bad, right? But you losing 24-29 against the Cleveland Browns, who were currently 1-6 at the time, bad, right? It's a bad football game. You didn't do what you needed to do to get it done. Obviously, you guys ran the football particularly well, but like you said, Todd Monken just kind of went away, tried to make Lamar Jackson more of a Peyton Manning than a Lamar Jackson. And I think every time you're having your quarterback like Lamar Jackson throw the football well more than you're running the football, you're in trouble, right? You're definitely in trouble. That's not in your DNA, like you said. Yeah. Derrick Henry only having 11 carries for 73 yards. Double that carry and see what you get, right? I think that's just where you need to be at with the Cleveland Browns. But all in all, I'm not going to sit here and bash the Ravens because G's not here, so it's not fair. But the Cleveland Browns, shout out Jameis Winston, man. That kid, I mean, go knows, he's just ready. Whenever he's available, he's ready. He's very motivational. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are in the chat or watching at home or just looking at his in-game speeches, post-game speeches, pre-game speeches, just the way he talks, he acts. He just alludes that professionalism, that motivation to get you guys going. A lot. He's matured a lot, since the Crabs stealing. We got a lot of slack for that. But he's matured so much. And he came in the game 27-41, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over, 115.3 passer rating. I mean, he lost the fumble. He did turn the ball over. Excuse me. He did turn the ball over, but he didn't, throw the ball in harm's way. Right. And that was against a great. We were just having that conversation. Chiefs or Ravens, right? Chiefs or Ravens. We just had that conversation. Who's the best team in the league? And you came in your first game and you beat the best team in the league. Like, that says a lot as your character. It says a lot for, you being ready coming off the bench. And, overall, you truly got it done for your team when they desperately needed it the most, right? But, great game overall, man. I'm not going to hound too much more on the Baltimore Ravens. I just say this all to say, we can't say you're the best team in the league and then turn around when you lose against one of the worst teams in the league. Oh, it was interdivisional. I'm not gonna let that I'm not going to let that slide.
I'm not saying that's the only reason, but I'm saying that is part of it. We know how tough divisional games are, not just in the AFC North, but in any division. But yeah, you're right though. I'm not gonna argue that. Just weren't good enough today.
No, got to be objective. Got to be objective. There you go. Right.
Absolutely.
All right, but moving on, we're gonna go into my division. Jesus Christ, Detroit Lions once again beat up on another team, the Tennessee Titans.
They did what the Ravens were supposed to do today. They beat up on a team.
They dog walked the Tennessee Titans 52-14. I mean, they didn't even need to score in the fourth quarter to make this score that high. They had 52 in 3 quarters. At this point, I'm looking at them I'm looking at the Lions like I don't want to play y'all, right? We're one of the best teams in our division, in the NFC period, and I don't want to play the Lions. Right? They're just hot off all the cords, man. Jared Goff only threw the ball 15 times. He had 3 touchdowns, 129.9 passer rating. They ran the football effectively, 24 carries. The thing about it, right? I just want to say this. They scored 52 points. You only threw the ball 19 times. You only ran the ball 24 times. So it's not like you had that many possessions to where you could run it up. Like, okay, we had 29 passing attempts and we had 31 rushing attempts, right? No, you only had 19 passing attempts, 24 rushing attempts for a 52-point ball game in the third quarter. That screams a lot to your offense, man. They were able to get their rookie in, hitting Hooker. I believe he played for Tennessee or Texas, one of the teams.
He played for Tennessee.
Tennessee, right? He played for Tennessee. You were able to get your rookie in with a lot of ball game left in the fourth quarter. I'll let you take it away with that one, brother.
No, it's not much to say. You pretty much broke that down expertly. Only thing I'll say, like they scored in a variety of ways. They scored in the passing game. They scored in the running game. They scored in the kick return game. It's like, dang, like when they are firing on all cylinders like that, granted, Tennessee's a bad team, but still scoring 50 on anybody in the NFL is a real thing, man. And the Lions look good, man. They look like they are clearly the class of the NFC for this moment. Now we're only halfway through, and there's Green Bay right there in the division. There's Minnesota in the division. We don't know what's going to happen in the NFC West at this point, but obviously you have Washington and Philly in the NFC East. But right now the Lions appear to be the class of the NFC. That is a good football team.
No. You're absolutely right. They're scary. I look at this right here. Last 4 weeks of football play. Seahawks, 42 points. Cowboys, 47 points. Minnesota Vikings, good defense, right? 31 points. Tennessee Titans, 52 points.
That is scary.
I mean, like, what are these guys? I feel like their offense is on steroids, right? I mean, and it's not like we're going in and we're saying Detroit Lions got Megatron, they got Devontae Adams, they got Derrick Henry at running back. They're good receivers. They're a great running game, right? They're good running players, but it's not like they're marquee names, right? To be like, okay, they're just dominant, right? Like the San Francisco 49ers is the closest example I can get, where you got Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Like you have weapons to be like, okay, that team should be scoring 42, 47, 31, 52. You don't look at the Detroit Lions and say that. You're like, man. Right. But they're scoring 42, 47, 31, 52. That's scary. That's scary. I'll get into my team here in a moment, but because we play next week, which is going to be a good game. We got a 425 game. But no, that team is just, they're thriving, brother. They're thriving. I can't say much more than that with that football team. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, but 127 yards. I got nothing. I got nothing. Right? My bad. I ain't even say this stat. Jared Goff had 85 passing yards.
Yeah. We had 3 passing touchdowns though. So,
but your team scored 52 points.
52.
Like, dude, that's incredible, man. If I could go out there and I could throw 85 yards,
that team, that is what they're supposed to. They did that. So
exactly. I mean, and not to revert back to the Baltimore Ravens. That's what we're expecting them to do to the Cleveland Browns, right?
Right.
The doo-doo Browns should have got beat 52-14. You go in there, you dog walk them. You move on to the very next game.
That's right.
And you're still holding that mantle of like, hey, we're the best team in the AFC. Damn the champs. We're the best team. We're on the rise. But that's just not a good game to have. But the Detroit Lions did what they're supposed to do against the Tennessee Titans.
They did that.
All right. We're going to move on to the Cardinals. The Cardinals. My bad. My screen froze, guys.
You're good.
Okay. All right. The Cardinals beating Miami Dolphins in a very, very tough nail biter. 28-27. You don't get that a lot of football games where a team wins by 1, but that's what they did, man. That's what they did. I'll let you take it away on this one.
So the I'll say 2 things right here, right? I'm not the biggest Tua guy, you all know that, but you can see immediately the difference when Tua is back under center running that offense for these guys. So
correct.
He clearly is a difference maker, and I think that it's safe enough to say after what we've seen from Miami this season that I was wrong. Tua deserved the money that he got. I was one of the people saying that don't pay him, but clearly when he's not there, that offense goes into a grave, I guess. And when he comes back, he's able to bring them back from the dead. So Tua gets a lot of credit. You can see the immediate difference. And the Cardinals are so weird to me because they're a real roller coaster team. It's like every other game they play well. And I can't figure out to what to attribute the lack of consistency with this football team. Kyler Murray played well today, didn't turn the ball over. Marvin Harrison Jr. played well today. And he's another one that seems like every other game he has a big game, but then he can go right and have a stinker immediately following that. So can't figure it out, but good game overall. Kyler Murray outguns, outduels Tua Tagovailoa, 26 for 36, 307, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for Kyler Murray. And just a good game, and Cardinals came out on top. Most NFL games are decided by like 5 points or less. So another tight one, and the Cardinals came out on top. Good game.
No, great game by the Cardinals. You said everything that I was going to say. Tua Tagovailoa, he earned that money, right? He's like, hey, look, you guys without me are bad. All right, but at least with me, you're relevant. At least with me, you're relevant. We understand this was his first game back in about 6 weeks. He was out week 2. So first game back, 28 for 38. Nothing crazy, a touchdown, but the offense looked much, much better than what we've been seeing in the past couple of weeks. I'm understanding Tyreek Hill did have a foot injury before the game, but no excuses when you suit up. You better be ready to play your heart out. But Arizona just got it done, man. They got it done, with Kyler Murray and the under helm, and 300 yards will definitely get you there. They get you in better opportunities. Miami did run the football well. I'll give them credit to that. But, you got to look at the defense on this one. Like, we just got Tua Tagovailoa back. What can we do to stop Arizona from scoring, right? How can we celebrate the fact that we were awful without our quarterback, but now that we have our quarterback back, let's go out here and have a defensive stand to where we're like, hey, look, we're happy we got our quarterback back. And I think that's what the Miami Dolphins could have done, but they didn't, right? 28-27. And, it was a fourth quarter game, but, you don't want to have that lost to put behind you when they scored 21 points in the second half or, against your Miami defense.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Man. Oh, boy. We got to talk about it, but here we go. The Jets. Bruce, I'm sorry. I made you stay online. I think it was last week, right? And we talked for about 20 minutes post the show.
Yeah.
And I was saying about, how the Jets could make a run, go 10-5, possibly 9-6, make the playoffs. I take all that back. I take it all back, man. You lost against the backup. Well, I'm not sure what you would call Jacoby Brissett. He's your stand-in quarterback. I would say more stand-in quarterback because Drake May did go down early in the football game. But you lose against the New England Patriots. They're right now gunning for the number 1 pick or top 5 pick in the NFL. You have Aaron Rodgers. You go trade it to get Devontae Adams. You have one of the greater running back cores in the league. You fired your coach. You lost 2 straight since then, right? to a total of 2-6 on your season. This is an awful freaking football team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm done going to bat for them. I tried to give that love to, because I've seen what Aaron Rodgers does in Green Bay, RELAX, relax in Green Bay when they're down early. But you're an awful fucking football team. When you go into New England, a team that has no aspiration of getting anything done this year, they're just trying to figure out what my quarterback looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That quarterback goes down. The stand-in placeholder of the team went down there and beat you guys 25-22. Before I get upset, Bruce, I'm going to let you
go. So, look, I'm going to keep this simple. I'm not going to get too much into it. Jets are a bad football team. I think they've lost every game since Robert Saleh was summarily dismissed.
Correct.
Excuse me. And can we just come on and say that Robert Saleh got a raw deal? Can we say that?
Correct.
He was made the scapegoat. I think despite the fact that he doesn't want to acknowledge it, I believe Aaron Rodgers had a lot to do with it. That's, neither here nor there. The fact is Robert Saleh was made the scapegoat. They fired this guy, and there has been zero improvement. Aaron Rodgers clearly is not the guy he once was. Yeah, I don't think he ever will be again. And that's fair. He's 40, right? We all got spoiled by Tom Brady being what he was at an advanced age. But Aaron Rodgers is not that, and you can see it. And so the Jets are not winning football games, and they get beat by the lowly Patriots, and there's no excuse for this. And I'm disgusted, but what are you going to do? When you treat people badly, you kind of deserve what you end up getting. So leave it right there.
Because I'm about to put this in the chat. Because Laker Nation said, they're like the Jets. The Jets are the Clippers of the NFL. And I say more of the Brooklyn Nets with Paul Pierce and KG, right? That expectation of, the older guys, the veteran champions, right? Because they were champions in their own right. Boston Celtics, they got it done in 2008. Another title run in 2010. But 3-4 years later, they tried to make that run with the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. And that's what you're looking at in an Aaron Rodgers, who's been there, champion. Devontae Adams, not necessarily won a Super Bowl, but, has been the number one receiver in the NFL for some years prior to this. And you have a top five defense. I'm sorry if you can hear me. Top 5 defense, right?
Yes.
The placeholder for the New England Patriots, who have no championship aspirations, went and got it done. They got it done. That was a 1-6, football team.
Yeah.
No fucking excuses. Aaron Rodgers, what are you doing? What's the excuse now? Right? Who are you going to point the finger at? You got Devontae Adams, you're happy.
Yeah.
You got Alan Lazard, you're happy. You got the coach fired, you're happy. You have your offensive coordinator, the one that you like to play cards with, right? You're happy, right? What's the excuse now? What's the excuse? You have no business going into New England, a very, very easily winnable game, right? It's interdivisional. I don't care to hear that, right? You have the better quarterback. You have the better receivers. You have the better running backs. You have the better defense. And you lost that football game.
Yeah.
Before I blow a gasket, guys, 28 carries, 28 passing attempts. It was a great even split. Me and you get on about a lot about how the NFL is, leaning towards that 50-50. You got it done that way. But Aaron Rodgers, 22 points against New England Patriots. He scored 25. You got to look yourselves in the mirror. I'm not going to say much more about that. You're both bottom feeders of your division. Thank God Miami lost, so you actually have company. Miami's 2-5. New England's 2-6. New York Jets, you're bottom of that division at 2-6, brother. You're definitely that. Laker Nation, I don't want to agree with you. Aaron Rodgers turned into LeBron James in the NFL because at least LeBron James has kept the Lakers relevant. This team is irrelevant. This team is irrelevant. They're not going to make the playoffs. LeBron James makes the playoffs. At least I can say that, right? It's about what you did for me lately, and I don't mean to jump off subject, but the Denver Nuggets outmatched us. So, we're out in the first round, but we were just in the conference finals. Where the hell has Aaron Rodgers and the Jets been in the last 2 years? Home. So I don't want to say Aaron Rodgers turned into the LeBron James in the NFL because that's just a bad analogy for what Aaron Rodgers and those New York Jets are doing over there with that football team. It's just bad, man. I'm gonna move on before I just truly get upset because I feel like I'm upset because in my mentality, Aaron Rodgers is still a Packer, right? And I'm like, you guys are bad. You guys are awful, man. But let me get off of that. We're gonna move on over to my bullish Atlanta Falcons. Went and got it done in Tampa. They visited Baker, touchdown maker, who definitely scored some touchdowns. Don't get me wrong, but he put the ball in harm's way quite a bit.
He did.
Which cost them to lose the ball game 31-26. I'll let you go ahead and take it from there.
No doubt. Baker had he's got 5 interceptions, I believe, in the last 2 games. That's not going to get it done. He did stand up in the absence of his elite receiving weapons, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and was still able to pass for 330 yards and get 3 touchdowns through the air. And then they ran the football decently, 22 times for 102 yards. Probably would have liked to see a little more of that, but they put it all on Baker's shoulders, and he played relatively well. But the turnovers will always get you, man. They'll always get you. And Kirk Cousins, man, he is he's going on doing what he does. 23 of 29 today, 276 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And it came down to the final possession, but just a really good overall game by the Falcons. And this is tough. Like, the Falcons would really have to go on a bit of a skid for the Buccaneers to win this division. And I think I picked the Bucs to win the division, but they're now currently 4-4, and they've lost both games to the Falcons. So that's tough. So even if they come out same record at the end, Falcons have the tiebreaker, virtue of beating them twice. So, Baker and the Buccaneers did not play a horrible game, but at the end of the day, man, the turnovers will get you, right? So 3 turnovers total. They have a lost fumble, being the Buccaneers, and the 2 interceptions. And real hard to win football games when those are your numbers. So congrats to the Falcons. You were bullish on them so far, and you have been right about them. So they clearly have the lead in the division, and it looks like they're probably going to win the division at this point. Again, 8 games left, so we'll see what happens. But Buccaneers they're in some trouble because they've lost 2 elite weapons. We'll see what they do.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And I said it all to say the reason I was bullish on the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, they're a younger team, right? Up and coming. You drafted a running back, you drafted a receiver. You have you drafted a tight end a couple of years ago in Kyle Pitts from Florida, but you have that aspiration to where, like, okay, look, we have the weapons, right? What do we have at quarterback? We don't really have nothing. Can we go and get a quarterback in the off season and put that quarterback in a position to help lead my younger guys? And I said this all to say, Kirk Cousins was that guy, right? He's not nothing to scoff at when you're talking postseason, right? But if you want to be in the conversation in the postseason, right? You want to be able to get to the dance that only 12 teams or 14 teams are invited to, right? Kirk Cousins is that quarterback, right? He can definitely get it done in the regular season. And at that point, you see what you can get in the postseason. He did that. 23 for 29, 276 yards, 4 touchdowns, didn't put the football in harm's way. He had a fumble, but he didn't lose it, right? 145.9 passer rating. That will get it done. This guy just came off a torn Achilles, right? Aaron Rodgers, what's your excuse? What is it? What is it, Aaron? You're old? Okay, maybe, right? Stop the excuses, right? Kirk Cousins is out there getting it done. His team is 5-3. They beat who should be in leaders of this division. Granted, they're definitely injury hobbled. They don't have Mike Evans. They don't have Chris Godwin to a season-ending injury. They don't have a running game established, but they're decent on the run game. But Baker touchdown maker is a great quarterback for that team. And guess what? Kirk Cousins got it done off of an injury, torn Achilles. Aaron Rodgers,
and Kirk Cousins doesn't have the Jets defense with him, so
he doesn't. Right? So Tampa Bay scored 26. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins went out there and put 31.
That's right.
What did the Patriots have? 25.
Yeah.
Man, I got so much to say about them Jets, man. But Kirk Cousins definitely got it done, man.
Mhm.
He was very, very efficient with the football running game. It was, again, we say it all the time, even split, 29 attempts, 29
Mhm.
carries. That'll
There you
definitely
go.
get it done if you're able to, take the football out of the quarterback's hands, but you're also able to do something effectively, with your pass game. So they did great. They're the leaders of that division. They're a game lead. 5-3, but they do hold that tiebreaker over the Tampa Bay Bucks because they did beat them twice. So very, very great place to be in if you're the Falcons. Moving on. Did you have anything else to say? I didn't mean to cut you off if you had
Nope.
something.
Nope. You good?
All right. We're going to go over to the Texans. CJ Stroud played against the Green Bay Packers, literally stunk it up. Say that all to say. He definitely went back, made up for it in a game to where they beat the Indianapolis Colts 23-20. What do you got about that game?
Man, this Anthony Richardson thing is driving me nuts, man. Please, somebody bench this dude and get Flacco in there if you want any chance of winning. In all seriousness, he's not ready. 10 of 32 today. 10 of 32. And that's not to say that a rookie can't have bad games, right? I was arguing with some of my buddies earlier today because they're just trying to tell me like Spencer Rattler is terrible and blah, blah, blah. And I looked it up and I'm like, do you know John Elway, Terry Bradshaw, and Troy Aikman all were benched in their rookie years for being terrible? Like, it happens, but sometimes guys need time to reassess and to learn. And I think Anthony Richardson is one of those guys, even though he's not a rookie, but he needs that, man. He needs that. The experience just isn't there. Jonathan Taylor, my guy, he did all he could do. 20 for 105. Very good day today. Indianapolis ran the football exceedingly well, 26 times for 163 yards. So that's good. But if you got more out of Anthony Richardson, maybe you win this game. Meanwhile, CJ Stroud, 285 and a tud. So there's not a lot of blowouts in the NFL because everyone is generally so evenly matched. But CJ Stroud, clearly the better quarterback here. And I think that was the difference maker. But again, Anthony Richardson needs to sit down somewhere, and Joe Flacco needs to run this thing, and he needs to learn because he's not ready yet. That's all I got.
I don't have much to add. I said it before, right? I didn't see anything in Florida, but
Mm-hmm.
they was like, oh well, it's not enough games. He didn't get enough
Mm-hmm.
starting time, yada yada yada.
Which is
So
exactly the
why
point.
are we starting him now
Right.
in the NFL? He
That's
has
right.
no experience. He was
Mm-hmm.
hurt his rookie season, no experience in his rookie season, but we're starting him in year 2. It's not like we're devoid of talent. We have one of the better running backs in the NFL, period, in Jonathan Taylor. Go
Mm-hmm.
Badgers, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
have weapons at the receiving end. I have a solid enough defense.
Mm-hmm.
My quarterback is out here throwing the ball 32 times and only completing it 10 times with an interception, stacked 5 times. The man's a greater running back than he is a receiver. Than he is a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
right? 6 carries, 45 yards. Oh, you're like, oh man, that's pretty fucking good, right? For
Right.
my quarterback. But I look at your quarterback numbers, your throwing numbers. I'm like, ew, what are we talking about? 10 for 32, 175. Like, are you serious? Right? You're absolutely right. Joe Flacco, if they want to win, and I say that because you do have teams in the NFL that are like, okay, look, we're not trying to win every game, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
still trying to build without saying we're trying to build, but we're also want to give our quarterback those reps, right? I get it, I understand it, but allow Anthony Richardson to sit back and learn from Joe Flacco. Anthony Richardson isn't learning nothing throwing the football like that. He's not learning
Mm-hmm.
nothing, right? So Joe Flacco will win. I would say with Joe Flacco starting the season, that team is easily 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
Easily, arguably 7-1, with the schedule they've had. But it's just terrible. That quarterback right now is just terrible. CJ Stroud, credit to him, 25-37. He got a tutty. Joe Mixon, they got it done off the ground, 29 carries, 96 yards in total, but Joe Mixon, 25 of those carries, 102 yards and a tutty. They did great. Stephon Diggs finally realized what it's like to not be in a blanket all game. Um, playing playing against my Green Bay Packers and Jair Alexander, shutting them out, pretty much not giving them any opportunity to score or be relevant in the football game at all. But, got it done. 5 receptions, 81 yards. We talk about National Tight Ends Day. Dalton Schultz, 4 receptions, 52 yards. Had a pretty decent football game. But, they did what they needed to get it done, beating the Houston Texans 23-20. So they did what they were supposed to do, man. But Anthony Richardson, Colts, big red flag, big question mark. You guys got to address it. You got to address it, man.
Got to.
All right. We're going to go into my bad. Somebody came to Jacksonville today.
Here you go.
Green team. They were yelling. Have you heard this term? Have you heard this term? Like, they were yelling, "Go Pack, go." Have you heard that before?
I have.
Like, "Go Pack."
I have. Yeah.
Right? What? Like, I didn't even understand what they were yelling. It was like, "Go Pack, go, go Pack, go." Man, it was electric, right? Because that team is fucking good.
Yes, that team is very good.
That team is good, man. Yeah. Green Bay went and got it done. They were in a very, very tight nail biter. I literally just exited out the whole score. Excuse me, guys. 30-27. We win by field goal. And as I'm pulling up my stats here, I'm gonna go ahead and give you something to say while I pull up my numbers and everything here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that the Jags played an inspired football game, and they try to play well at home, but there's something missing from the Jags here this year. And Trevor Lawrence, he had some good numbers: 21 for 32 for 308, 2 touchdowns, but he also had the 1 interception, and I think he lost a fumble as well. So you're responsible for 2 turnovers. That could have been the difference in the game. Jordan Love, we know how good he is based on the run that we saw last year. He hasn't necessarily played like it this year. I think we've identified that he's got some gunslinger in him. He's not quite as careful with the football as Aaron Rodgers was. He's a little closer to Brett Favre on that front, but we know that he's got all the tools and can make all the plays. So I'm curious to see down the stretch and then getting into the playoffs if he can kind of rein that in just a little bit. You don't want to completely take it away from him because that's what makes him dangerous. But I love the fact that looks like Josh Jacobs finally broke out this week. 25 carries, 127. I love to see that. I love the running game. 39 carries overall for $170, and so that's what you want to see. Jacksonville did not get 100 yards rushing, but look, man, I don't know what to say about the Jags. They're not good, and clearly Doug Peterson's going to be gone. He's not going to be the coach here next year. So I guess I'm just waiting to see who it is, and that's going to be Trevor Lawrence's 3rd coach. So now the question becomes, okay, who's the common denominator here? And, Trevor Lawrence, you got all the money. You're the guy. You're supposed to make it happen. So, go Pack, go. Good win for Green Bay. They're just a step behind the Lions in the NFC North, so they're trying to keep pace. 6-2, so looking good. And I think Jordan Love just cleans up some things, and Green Bay can be just as dangerous as they want to be.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Jordan Love did go down with a groin injury today. And Malik Willis, again, I looked at the trade during the offseason. We traded the Tennessee Titans, a 7th round pick for him. And that's looking like one hell of a fucking trade for Green Bay. Right, yeah. A season-defining trade, as Malik Willis is now, when he's playing, 3-0. Right, you went 2-0 when Jordan Love went down. They methodically ran the football with Malik Willis in the football game. You mentioned Josh Jacobs, 25 for 127, but Malik Willis came in there 4 for 5, 56 yards, a touchdown, 4 carries, 23 yards. Just literally came in and closed out that football game. For Jordan Love, who wasn't playing particularly well, but he did what he needed to do. I think he's really going to be one hell of a trade piece, coming up in the next year or two that we're going to be able to have. But, I mean, dude, if we don't trade him, I would gladly sign him to something being our backup because he's obviously getting it done on that side of the football. But, the Jaguars, they played one hell of a game. I was actually at the game today. So go Jags. Duval County showed up today. But Green Bay, man, they traveled. They traveled. They were loud in that stadium.
Mm-hmm.
The energy was electric. I'm not sure if you guys ever been to Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, but it's a nice stadium to go to. Nothing to scoff at. It's not like you're going to Dallas, but it's a nice stadium to go to. They're actually going to be starting the project for a new stadium here in Jacksonville. But Trevor Lawrence had a decent enough game. I'm not going to really blame him much. But you are the starting quarterback. That comes with the territory that you guys just didn't get it done. But they fought. They made it a very, very tough game, tough football game, closer than what I think it should have been. But you indeed did lose the football game. Tank Bisbee got it done on the ground. But they just wasn't in a position to use him more since they were being more of a chase down team for majority of the game. But great game. The rookie got it done. 3 receptions, 60 yards, a touchdown. He made some big plays when they were needed. But National Tight Ends Day, I said this again. Tucker Kraft needs to be utilized more. My tight end got it done.
I saw that. And Xavier McKinney got another pick. He's back in business.
6 picks on the season. Right?
Crazy.
6 picks on the season.
Crazy.
We're only in week 8.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
give me that.
Hey, our defensive coordinator, Jeff said, hey, look, don't get bored out there. Like the last couple of weeks, he was like, hey, man, because everybody's been talking about, McKinney had 5 straight games, 5 interceptions. What happened? It was like, dude, they're not throwing the ball his way.
Exactly.
Like, you're learning. Exactly. So he's shutting down one side of the field, literally like, hey, don't throw it this way. And obviously, you see, if you keep trying him, what's going to happen? He's going to pick you off.
He's going to take it from you. Yeah,
he's going to take it from you. So that was a big turnover that we needed that game. That was coming off of a Jordan Love turnover that he threw in the possession prior to McKinney taking that ball away. But great game by my Pack, man. Go Pack, go. We're 6-2. We're second in the division behind that freaking gauntlet of Detroit Lions, man. So great team over there. Moving on, we're going to get out of Green Bayville, and we're going to go to the Los Angeles Chargers. They did what they were supposed to do against the New Orleans Saints, 26-8. You got anything about that game?
Nah, nothing really. Looks like Justin Herbert's first kind of big game of the year, numbers wise. 279 through the air and 2 touchdowns, and that's obviously you're going to see in just about every game with the Chargers. They're going to run the football more than they throw it. This wasn't one of those. They threw it 32 times and ran it 29 times, 122 yards on the ground. So I'm sure that Jim Harbaugh would have liked to have a higher ratio of run to pass, but it was one of those games where, you got to make the adjustment sometimes. And but they were able to come out with the win because the Saints are another team decimated by injuries. And Spencer Rattler was 12 of 24 for 156, and he got benched. No touchdowns, but no interceptions. The kid didn't turn it over, but he got benched. I think just hoping that his backup could have created some level of spark. But the Saints, they just don't have it right now. That's about it.
No, they don't. I think what Jim is doing is that he's finally giving Justin Herbert that reign of like, hey, look, let's go throw the football, kid. Right? You know my philosophy. We're run heavy.
Right.
I definitely want to run the football with this team, but I do understand you like throwing the football. So this was a game to where you got away with it. Throwing the football. The New Orleans Saints are just not good at all. They're down their quarterback. And what's left of, anything behind that team, right? 26-8, and Justin Herbert got a chance to go out there and just let it air out. Let that arm flex. Get that rhythm. Get those attempts, get those reps in with throwing the football. And Jim was like, all right, we don't have to run it that heavy today. Let him go get his run because we may need you in a point in time to where, okay, son, we can't run the football today, right? We're down. It's a 2-minute drill. I need you to throw the football, right? And I think when you take the football away from him all season, and you run the football so heavy, and you finally need him in that 2 minutes, you're like, man, well, coach, I don't have the reps. Like, all you do is want to run the fucking football, right? So I think this is just one of those games where, he was just given that opportunity for him to throw the football. So shout out him. Shout out Georgia Bulldogs, man. Their receiver, McConkey, got it done.
Yeah,
6
he
receptions, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Caught every pass that was thrown his way. Kid's nice, man. That kid's solid. Kid's solid. We're gonna move on over, man. The Bills did what they're supposed to do. 31-10, just methodically beat the crap out of the Seattle Seahawks. I'll let you take it away with that one, brother.
Yeah, Seahawks, big problem. They couldn't get anything going in the run game. 17 carries for 32 yards. They just could not get anything going. And Josh Allen, 24 for 34, 283, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
Finally.
Right. The interceptions are rare. Rare indeed for Josh Allen.
That's the first one of the season.
There you go. He finally threw one. But they also ran the football great. 34 carries for 164 yards. So that will get it done, having that type of disparity. The Bills went out there. They played well. And Seattle did not for whatever reason. So I don't have too much more to add than that, other than they could not run the football. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. When Geno Smith is leading your rushing game with 16 yards, it's trouble. It's trouble, man. James Cook, I'm pretty sure the Dallas Cowboys was like, we got the wrong Cook in our backfield. 17 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. We got the wrong chef, right? We got the wrong chef in the backfield. They got it done, man. 34 for 34. When you're looking at passing versus carrying, like we said all the time, Bruce, that'll get it done. You got to be able to run the football. And you got to be able to do something with your quarterback. When you're able to get it done with both, you're going to be putting yourself in a great position to win a lot of football games. And that's just exactly what the Buffalo Bills got done. Seahawks couldn't do nothing. I mean, there's nothing to look at when you're talking about their stats. If you guys are in the chat, you guys are looking at home, just go look it up. It's just awful. Everything was awful. But not much more to say about that game. But Josh Allen finally threw an interception. So gladly G isn't here to say he's out of the top 5 in quarterbacks because he finally threw that interception. So
I know, right? I don't think he thinks he's in the top 5, but that's it. That's a different story. Yeah.
But yeah. So Bills got it done. So we're gonna move on. The Broncos did what they're supposed to do, another bottom feeder of the Carolina Panthers in their division in their own retrospect. They beat them 28-14. Game wasn't close at all. Carolina did score a touchdown in the fourth quarter to make it seem a little bit closer than what it was. But Bo Nix finally looked like a quarterback that may be better than Brock Purdy, according to some analysts out there. He had a very great game. This was his best game of the season, best game of his career.
Yes, it was.
28 for 37, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns, 124 on the passer rating. Got another touchdown with his legs. The kid finally had a breakout game. If you want to have a breakout game, this is one of them teams you got to do it against. Carolina Panthers, bottom feeders, who did have
Bryce Young to get you right.
Yeah. I'll let you take it away. What you got? You got anything on this one?
No, not really. I mean, just impressed with what you saw from Bo Nix today, and the Broncos look like an improved football team, especially on what we saw last year. So anxious to see what they do and how they end up finishing the season. Like at 5-3 and playing a really good defense, and Bo Nix not making a ton of mistakes. Is this a football team that can sneak into the playoffs? Right?
No, they're in position.
Right. Them. Obviously, the Chiefs, who we're going to talk about, who are undefeated and defending champions, and the Chargers. Like, who knows, man? This AFC West could have 3 teams getting in the playoffs. So, we'll see.
No, right now they're all in. Broncos are currently 5th. Chargers are currently 7th.
There you go.
In that conference. So, they're definitely looking like a team to be reconciled with. That defense is just literally legit. I mean, granted, they're playing against Bryce Young and the Panthers, but if you look at previous games with the Denver Broncos, they've really been playing great football on the defensive side. And they just finally had a game to where Bo Nix felt comfortable against Carolina Panthers. But it is what it is. You got to get your win somehow. You got to get your rhythm going somehow. And this was a game where he definitely established some type of rhythm. Not necessarily 50-50 on the attempts to carries, but I mean, I get the philosophy from what's the Saints old coach name?
Dennis Allen.
No.
Oh, Sean Payton. I'm sorry.
Sean Payton. Sean Payton, was like, hey, son, go air it out. Let's learn. Hey, go figure it out. Our defense is too legit. Carolina's nothing to get done. I mean, this is a game where you're going to, test out your arm, test out your, what you've been studying. and what you've been looking at. So great job by Bo Nix and those Denver Broncos, 5-3, currently sitting at number 5 in the conference. You did mention them. We're going to get to them. The undefeated champs remain undefeated. Los Angeles Raiders, 7-0.
Well, that was to be expected, right? I mean, it's still a close game, though.
Close game. But, the champs did get it done. Patrick Mahomes, 27 for 38, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. And, they ran the football okay. I mean, not even okay, but it was just okay enough for those guys to get it done. And against the Raiders, who just couldn't run the football at all.
Not at all.
21 carries, 33 yards is what you're looking at. That'll definitely lose you a lot of football games. But the game was particularly close. Gardner Minshew kept it close. Chiefs win 27-20. What you got on that?
Not a lot, man. Not a lot. I'm waiting to see that entire Chiefs wide receiving core round into form and see how it's going to work with Patrick Mahomes. But this is the game I expected the Chiefs to win. They did. I expected the Raiders to play tough. They did. We got the outcome we expected, right? And Travis Kelce took advantage of tight ends day with 10 catches for 90 yards. Probably his best game of the season so far.
Yeah. Nope. Yep. The tight ends were the receiving leaders of this game. Brock Bowers also had 5 receptions, 58 yards for the Raiders, and Travis Kelce, 10 receptions, 90 yards and a touchdown off of 12 attempts, 12 targets. For the tight end, this was one of those games where, like I said before, everybody's like, hey, man, Travis Kelce, he's getting a step older. He's not looking good. But I'm like, that's the scheme. That's the scheme. That's not a big of I'm not expecting that big of a fall off from a Hall of Famer like Travis Kelce. I'm looking at the scheme. What are the Kansas City Chiefs trying to do? They're trying to see who else can help get it done throughout the season, right? They're going through a receiver problem right now where they're having a boatload of injuries per receiver. But right now, they're just out there playing figure it out at 7-0. Like, hey, let's see who's next up. Let's see who's available. Let's see who can get in a rhythm, who can I rely on when the time comes. And but it was just one of those games with Travis Kelce. It was just like, hey man, let's go have yourself a game. It's tight ends day. We're drawing it up for you. You haven't really done much all season. You've been a great Keeds on the sideline of just keeping your composure. You heard nothing in the media from Travis Kelce. You've seen nothing on the sideline from Travis Kelce. It was just one of those games where it was just like, okay, go out and have fun, big fella. When the time comes, we know we can rely on you. And it was just one of those games, man. That's it for the Chiefs. We're gonna go on to the Commanders. The Commanders got it done, man. Me and you were both. Me and you were right. Jaden Daniels did end up playing, so I'll take that back when we go back and we look at the weekly pick'em. We did both say if Jaden Daniels was to play, we would pick the Commanders, right? Yeah. So, we had the Commanders on Wednesday, but that was with Jaden Daniels out. Obviously, he played, so he got the dub, man. He got it done in his game back. Not necessarily the completion percentage that we've seen throughout the season for Jaden Daniels, but
we knew he had to come back to earth at some point. So
come back to earth, right? And the Chicago Bears do have a good defense, man. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, no, Jaden Daniels has continued his stellar play. Looks like it's leading to Offensive Rookie of the Year, 21 for 38, 326 passing yards and a touchdown. And this was an amazing game if you watched it, especially coming down to the wire, literally being won by Washington on a desperation Hail Mary pass. That was insane. So really, a good game, strong game. Caleb Williams did not play well, but he did lead the Bears on the final drive to take the lead. And what looked to be the winning drive, he was 10 for 24, which is terrible, for 131 yards, no touchdowns, but also no interceptions. So we can always, you can look at the bright side of things. He did lose a fumble, so he's got to continue to work on ball security. But just not a great game offensively for the Bears, but they also did manage to hold the Redskins in check. Redskins got yards, but they didn't get a lot of points out of it. So that's a really good thing. That was the kind of bend but don't break mentality by the Bears defense today. So all of that, but Jaden Daniels, he did what he was supposed to do, and he came out with the win. And he threw the Hail Mary up, and the Bears didn't appear to do what they always teach you, and that's try to knock the ball down. It doesn't appear that way, but the receiver in the back of the scrum, I guess, he was all alone and he caught the ball. So yeah. And then you're gonna go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You're good. Go ahead and finish.
No, I was just gonna say then you're gonna see I can't remember who it was, but one of the DBs for the Bears was kind of not paying attention when the play started. He was over there talking smack to the Washington fans, and looks like it cost his team.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's huge. And that's something that the coach is gonna go back and look at, like, bro.
As they should. I was saying I'd cut him.
Yeah. It's like, bro, what are you doing? We don't need that. Who you talking to? Right. The game's on the line.
Right.
You lost a football game. You're not paying attention.
Right.
Bears should have won this game. They did everything you're supposed to do. I mean, your quarterback's not doing particularly well, but you look at the run game, right? 34 carries, 196 yards, two touchdowns. You threw the ball less than what you ran the ball with. You're expected to win those football games, especially when you have a Chicago Bears defense that was holding the Commanders to, at the time, 12 points for the majority of the football game. But you're supposed to win those games, and you go back, you look at that corner, like, bro, where was your mind at? We're in the toughest division in NFL. Yes. We can't lose no football games, right? Because we're not only fighting for the division, we're fighting just to get in, right?
Yeah.
Green Bay's better than us. The Detroit Lions are better than us. We're trying to get the Vikings are better than us. So we're trying to get that 6 or 7 spot prayerfully. If one of those teams come back to earth, and we do got to go to the head-to-head matches against those guys, and this isn't a game that you want to lose and put on your backbone. You want to be more 5-2 than you are 4-3, and the Commanders did get it done, man. So shout out Jaden Daniels. He did come back off of that injury last week, and got it done. Hail Mary, but those plays do count, whether it's in the beginning of the football game or whether it's the end of the football game. It's a touchdown. It counts. And those boys got it done, man. So shout out the Commanders. They're 6-2. They're leading that division still. I think we both had them third in that division. I think I had Philly, Dallas, Washington in that order.
That's right.
And looking at Washington, Philly, Dallas. So, they're looking good, man. They're looking good. That's it, man. That's going to be the last game of the week of week 8.
Well, last Sunday game, we got Giants and the Steelers tomorrow night on Monday night.
Yes. Correct. That's going to be tomorrow night, and look out for that one, man. It's going to be a blowout for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
that's what it appears to be. Yeah. All right. Well, that was our whirlwind wrap up of week 8 in the NFL. At least for the Sunday and the Thursday and Sunday games. So we appreciate y'all being here tonight. And we are going to call it right here, and enjoy the games tomorrow night. And we should be back with you Wednesday
night. We'll be back like a Cadillac on 4 flats. Let's go.
No doubt. All right, team. Y'all have a great one. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and share the channel with other sports fans that want to hear a different voice in the sports media. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go ahead and crash, and y'all have a great night.
Peace.